Hey y'all, it's me Alex. Today I have my first ever anti-haul video. Now for those of you who have been hiding under a literal rock for the last year, 2 years, I'm not sure how long, an anti-haul is a type of video created by the amazing and awesome and super duper cool and all of the synonyms, Kimberly Clark, who basically created this to stop everybody from buying so much because let's face it, there are many similar products in the makeup world that are being released, and brands are releasing way too many products all at once and it's overwhelming. But you don't have to buy it all, and neither do I, and that is the purpose of this anti-haul, because I'm going to tell you what of the new releases in the makeup world that I will not be buying. So I've avoided doing this video for so long because I haven't wanted to oversaturate the market of anti-haul videos, but I think that's happening with or without me doing a video, so hey, what's one more? You know, and plus I want to have fun. I want to have fun on my channel, and I want to talk crap about makeup. Well, not talk crap about, but yeah, totally talk crap about makeup. So I have a list in my unicorn notebook, which, by the way, I'm coloring in a unicorn there. Super cute. Thank you, Mom. But I have my list. It is largely palettes and a couple other things. Yeah, I think it's because just palettes are what I pay attention to when I even like look at stuff that I would even consider buying. It's usually a palette. So anyway, I'm gonna just get started. The first thing I think has been mentioned in basically every anti-haul video, and I'm probably really late to saying that I'm not going to buy this, and I've said that I'm not going to buy this in a few other videos like Get Ready With Me's and whatnot, but you can guess. It is the Tarte Shape Tape Foundation. Now, I know they expanded their shade range by like a tiny little bit of shades, but I think it's a load of crap. Now, I was really excited when they announced that they were going to do this foundation because my skin has been changing a little bit, and I've been wanting to try out some different foundations to see what would help accommodate my dry skin, and Tarte is a cruelty-free brand, so that I thought that was going to be really good, and the fact that they were doing a hydrating foundation and a matte foundation, I thought that was just wonderful. But their shade range, though, it is 50 shades of beige, and quite frankly, it isn't even 50 shades at all. That is the main reason that I'm not going to buy it, and on top of that, when asked about their shade range, Tarte says that since they were releasing it in the winter, most people are pale during the winter, and they would release some darker shades during the summer. Now, I know I don't know everything in this world, but I'm pretty certain that people of every race and skin tone exists during all times of the year. It's not that white people only exist from the month of like December through February and like each race gets their own season. No, it doesn't work like that. All people exist during all times of year. So yeah, you should think about that when you're releasing a foundation. And we live in a post-Fenty world. Fenty has done it, Jouer has done it, Huda Beauty has done it, even Kylie Jenner with her concealer? Foundation? I don't know. Even she has like a pretty inclusive shade range. So Tarte, no. Get it together. Another Tarte product that I'm not going to buy, which I'm not buying anything Tarte for a bit. I'm even trying to use up my Tarte blush right now. But I'm specifically going to call out this product that I'm not going to buy, and that is the Tarte Mermaid palette. Yeah, so editing Alex has realized that this is actually called the Be a Mermaid and Make Waves eyeshadow palette, which is somehow worse. Yeah, don't really want that one. I think this is one of those palettes where you see that nice little itty bitty pop of color with nice pretty blue, greeny shades, but then you realize that that's only like 2 or 3 shades in the entire palette, and the rest is just like everything else that we've seen, which is warm neutrals. And quite frankly, I would like the opposite of that sort of palette. That's actually the kind of palette that I used on my eyes, is the exact opposite of the mostly neutrals with a little pop of color. I would prefer a palette that has mostly color but just a little bit of neutrals. You know, just so that you have like a nice brow bone shade and a transition shade, but the rest is like fun color to play with. That is something that I would like. That's something that I think more companies should be doing. But instead, this is the exact opposite. Chances are, if you have any amount of makeup, you have all of the warm neutrals from this palette, and if you are really that desperate for a teal eyeshadow, you can buy a single from Makeup Geek or Luxie or Divina, or you know, ColourPop or any makeup brand at all if you want a teal eyeshadow, and then you basically have this palette. The packaging is really pretty, but the rest of it, Don't need it. Okay, so moving on into a different brand that has like 2 palettes that's already out and then 1 on the way. The brand is Urban Decay. And I love Urban Decay, so this is like not me hating on Urban Decay, because if you know, like half of my collection is Urban Decay. The first thing that I'm not buying from them is the Back Talk palette. I was really excited for this one at first because it was like very rosy tones and it came with a blush side. Granted, if they sold the blush side of this on its own, I would totally get that because I love the Urban Decay blush formula. I only have 1 blush. I bought my 1 little blush in Rapture, like apparently right before they took all of the blushes out of store, so I haven't been able to pick another one up, but I want more because the formula is amazing. But I saw a few reviews on the palette itself and it looks very pretty, but I thought it was going to be a lot cooler, and I even wasn't really sure that I was going to pick it up anyway because of the type of colors. It looks like even if they did run a bit cooler than they did, it looks like I would kind of have those shades since I have both the Naked 3 and the Modern Renaissance palette. So if you have palettes like that, you really especially don't need this. So I'm not knocking it, it's just something that I legitimately do not need. Also from Urban Decay is the Naked Petite Heat. Now I saw all of the Get Ready With Me's with like Nicole Richie, with like all of the big YouTubers. I saw Jackie Inez and Desi Perkins and I love them and I think their looks came out great. And I think it's a good quality thing and I think that's something that a lot of people would like. I am not one of those people. Now I talked in a previous video about how much I want the Naked Heat palette, even though I know that I do not need it because I have the NYX Ultimate Warm Neutrals. And this takes all of the shades that I especially do not need that I really have from the NYX Ultimate Warm Neutrals and puts it into a tiny little 6-pan palette. I don't know, I wouldn't want a palette of all matte shadows in that sort of formula. I would like a nice little mixture of matte and shimmer shadows. Now I know the Basics palettes are all matte as far as I know, but when it comes to those bright orangey shades, I would prefer if at least one of them was like a nice shimmer so that you can give yourself a little bit more depth to a look. When I'm using orangey bright shades, I don't want all mattes. So that is my own personal beef with it. I have a palette that already has all of those colors and you know what? It's small enough. The NYX Ultimate Warm Neutrals is like this big, and I travel a lot and people talk about like how good this is for traveling, but I travel to go back home to Virginia for breaks and stuff, and I managed to fit like 3 or 4 regular size palettes in my luggage. I don't need a smaller palette for traveling. I already fit like 1 million into my suitcase anyway. It doesn't make that big of a difference, so I don't need it. And I will not be buying it. Okay, I have to look at my phone for this one because it hasn't actually been released yet. But I already know that I'm not interested, and I saw it on Trend Mood. Fix my bangs, hot. Good gracious. And it appears to be called their Beached palette. I think that's, yeah, their Beached eyeshadow palette. And it basically looks kind of like, there's like a recent Kylie palette that looks like this, and I think the Kathleen Light's ColourPop Dream Street palette looks like this, and I didn't really want those either because this is kind of like the Mermaid palette from Tarte too, in that you can cover up the blue shades because people will see the blue shades as a selling point of this. There are only 2 blue shades, and you know what the rest is? That's it. Warm neutrals. So I already have a bunch of warm neutrals and I already have teal pretty blue eyeshadows in my collection, and yeah, I don't need neutrals with a pop of color. So this is a definite no for me. One palette that I was almost suckered into buying, but realized that it was like all of these other palettes, was the Natasha Denona Tropic palette. Now I'm not one to spend that amount of money on makeup, but if you look at that gorgeous, beautiful bottom row of blues and greens and purple shades, holy crap, that is beautiful. But the rest of the palette is, again, it's warm neutrals. And I would love for Natasha Denona to just release that bottom row as like one of her little 5-pan palettes, because then I would actually buy something from her because I could afford it and I could, you know, actually get use out of it. But if I were to buy that $130 eyeshadow palette, I would only be getting use out of that bottom row, and I am not here for that. To me, even if you just use the top half of the palette, it doesn't even look like I could get that many unique looks out of it. So if you want the uniqueness of the palette, all you need is that bottom row. So I'm thinking I might actually order some shadows and maybe like try and dupe it, or maybe just hope and pray that she releases the bottom row as one of her 5-pan things on its own. But either way, I am not spending $130 to only really care about 5 eyeshadows in a palette. Another one that I only just saw on Trend Mood today was the KKW Beauty and Mario collaboration. I know that's Kim Kardashian's makeup artist, and again, like I've said in previous videos, I don't actually have an issue with the Kardashians. We don't have the same style, and like Kylie Cosmetics has no customer service or return policy or anything, so yeah, not going there. But this palette also looks like a neutral palette with a pop of color. Now I'm really intrigued by about 3 of the shades there. There's a really nice bright red and looks like a burgundy purple shade, and then this bright blue that kind of reminds me of Chaos by Urban Decay. But the rest of it looks very much, it almost kind of looks like the Too Faced Chocolate Bar palette in some of the other shades, which is really pretty, but I already own the Too Faced Chocolate Bar palette, so this is not a thing I need, and I realize that I have literally the same reasoning for all of these palettes for not buying them. But that also means that, you know, maybe companies are just coming out with too many extremely similar palettes, because if I don't need them for all the same reason, maybe they are just all the same. And one last thing, it's a collection that I'm just not really feeling. It is the ColourPop and My Life as Ava collection. Now I've heard that name before, but I didn't really know her that well, and I have nothing against her. I think she's beautiful. But this is just a collection that kind of feels like every ColourPop collaboration collection with like a bunch of kind of like nude lipsticks and natural eyeshadow palette. I do appreciate that she did like a warm neutral eyeshadow palette and like a cool neutral eyeshadow palette, but those are just things that I don't need. I don't need any like nude lipsticks, and she has like a blush and bronzer that I also just really don't need. Now, I think fans of My Life as Eva will probably love this because that'll be more their style, but it's just really not my style. It's not my thing. If I needed anything from that collection, it is already in my makeup collection, so I don't need it and I will not buy it. And that is it for my first ever anti-haul. Let me know if you would like to see another one of these. Granted, it'll take some time for me to actually decide whether or not I'm interested in other things. I should have noted this at the beginning, but all of the brands that I will mention in this video are cruelty-free, because to me, as a person whose makeup is all cruelty-free, to me it goes without saying that I don't need and will not buy any makeup that is tested on animals. So if you have anything that you would be interested in my opinion on, just let me know. But if it's not cruelty-free, I won't be mentioning it because it goes without saying. But anyway, that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and subscribe down below if you want to see more videos from me, and I will see you on my next one. Hope you all have a wonderful day. Bye!